All right, we're in the beautiful city of Bangkok. We're going to try to do a bit of a 2025 review of how the year's gone, the ups and downs. E-commerce has had a lot of changes. And we're currently in the condo building that went viral during the earthquake earlier in the year. The buildings are swaying left and right. It was absolutely crazy, to be honest. I'm pretty sure if there's another earthquake, then this building will be a goner. Like, you'll be able to see it. The video got millions of views. Don't know why we're in this. I got into this condo before I knew that this was the one that was most affected by the earthquake. But we're here now, so yeah, going to try to do a bit of a review and sort of digest the year. There's been lots of highs and lows, lots of strategies working, lots of strategies not working. You know, the e-commerce world has had a bit of an earthquake of its own in the sense of Andromeda coming in, and there's just been lots and lots of changes. So also lots of changes in my business, also personally, and then obviously on the client side, on the e-commerce world as well. So yeah, going to try review all that. I think we're going to try and get somewhere a little bit better for recording and for actually unpacking. So let's do it. I'm 20-something years of age, and life surely ain't about handouts. So I lays my plan out. Hard work is limited to an art. Yeah, I think this is a good spot. It's a bit hot in here though. I can't actually control the air condition. I might have to move at some point because I'm starting to sweat. But anyway, we're going to try and do a 2025 review and unpack it. There's been a lot to unpack. Obviously, starting with at the start of the year, the Shein and Temu CPM explosion. Obviously, they just pumped ungodly amounts of budget into the platform and blew up CPMs. Like, they took a lot of ad inventory, and you couldn't really just outspend them. You had to just get creative and find ways to basically improve attention rates and improve engagement rates to be able to compete with their crazy budget, which was definitely not fun because essentially, like, the Q4 budgets from 2024, the Q4 CPM stayed flat going into January, February, March of 2025, which normally it kind of comes back down post Q4, which was not fun. But nonetheless, we managed to get through it. And then following that, we sort of had like the beta rollout of Andromeda. And then soon after that, the full rollout of Andromeda, which this has been a real hot topic and sort of like a buzzword of the year, really, which has been interesting to see. You know, most people, just as soon as they stick Andromeda in their YouTube video, suddenly the views go up. It seems to have sort of been that buzzword of the year. And I think the main kind of takeaway from this new algorithm is essentially that it just loves volume and more signals and more variety of volume, you know, being able to enter into different ad auctions and try to escape having the same entity ID when you're launching unique ads, making sure they don't look exactly the same, and, you know, needing to have like 50 to 100 ads in your ad account versus before you could get away with having a lower volume of really, really high quality ads. Now you just need high quality ads, unique ads, and a lot of volume, which has been interesting because at the same time, roughly around the same time, we've had a real development in AI and Nano Banana Pro, Sora 2 and VO3, and like all of these AI softwares now that are just enabling us to create an insane volume of content. Mainly images. It's better for images, I'll be honest. You know, in a crazy volume for a cost-effective rate, which has been great timing and has kind of like fit in with the new Andromeda update, which has obviously been really good. And, you know, with the rise of AI and this new game essentially that you've got to figure out, and it seems like things are always evolving and you're never really just set. You need to always be adapting. It's kind of unlocked a really interesting aspect of content and doing shoots and things like that. Because if you think about the cost of doing a shoot, right, you know, for like a fashion brand or even just going doing a shoot for a general problem-solving product, you know, you've got to pay the models, you've got to maybe pay the flight to go to a cool location, the hotel, obviously you have to stay over, photography equipment, maybe you've got a photographer, videographer, they need paying, you've got to pay for the product as well. Like, it's like it's a big expense and it's a whole thing. And what we've been doing with a lot of our clients is like they will do a shoot, and if they don't get everything that they need on that shoot, we will then run it through AI, and we will use the products and stuff to get different flat lays and also use the likeness of the models that they've shot with to get different angles and different types of content where we can pretty much double the output of that shoot, which has been amazing for the volume. And we've seen a significant increase in results as a result of doing that, which is just super, super awesome. And then obviously, with all that going on, I've decided, to move my business out of the UK. I was based in the UK before, but there's been a lot of politics, a lot of tax, and all that sort of stuff. And I just thought it was better financially and also from a service delivery standpoint to not be based in the UK. So we've kind of lifted that tax burden, and as a result, we've been able to put more into the R&D of the actual service delivery, and as a result, being able to get better results for our clients, which is the main thing, which is all we're interested in. We've been able to provide wage growth, and it's just, to be honest, it's been the best decision that I've ever made. And obviously now we can, live in the sun. We're currently in Bangkok, but planning to move to one of the islands like Koh Samui or something a bit later in 2026. So yeah, it's great decision. Really, really glad that I did it. And I think just for business and also for personal, it's just been one of the best things ever. Like, definitely, if you're a UK business owner, it's a little bit different for e-commerce brands because obviously you have to sell inside the UK or like wherever you're based, that's your domestic market. And it makes it a bit more challenging for delivery and taxes and stuff. You can't just quite get up and leave in the same way that like an agency can, where it's like fully online and it's a service delivery. But if you are an agency owner watching this, then I'd recommend cutting that tax burden because it really does add up, and the amount of extra cash flow it gives you to be able to then reinvest into the service delivery and get better results and compete is just awesome. And then of course, so we've pretty much had our first Black Friday in like outside the UK. I've done like 6 Black Fridays now. So very, very accustomed to it. We've got a great strategy nailed on for it to make sure that we're always maximizing the gains for it. Because essentially, like, this is the biggest time of the year for most brands. You spend all year building up data, paying to acquire customers and getting in front of audiences. And then Black Friday is the time to just really, really bring them back and maximize the amount that you're getting per head, per customer. So yeah, Black Friday this year, very, very good for all of our clients. We had record days, record months, and as a result, record years for a lot of the brands that we work with, which is just super, super awesome. Like, it's just such a great feeling to see people win. And one of the like biggest takeaways from it was, I mean, if you'd seen what the best performing ad was, I'll try and put it on screen. It was just a very, very regular native ad. It was like a screenshot of the checkout that showed the discount. It wasn't anything fancy like lifestyle or anything like that. It was just a screenshot of the checkout, and that was the best performing ad out of all of the accounts. Like, in terms of the amount of spend it took and the ROAS that it generated and the CPA, like it was just awesome. So sometimes more simple is better, and you don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. And some people just want something simple that is authentic and just shows the value. And this was for a fashion brand as well. So yeah, really, really good Black Friday. Again, first Black Friday outside of the UK. A lot of wins across the board, and just sort of like heading into the end of the year, there's been a lot of smaller brands that we've started working with that have kind of been starting from the ground up, and we're just starting to see some real good traction from them. And ROAS is increasing, the amount we're able to spend is increasing, and I'm just really, really excited going into 2026 to see what we can do for those brands, not only the current big ones in terms of adding those extra 20-30% of gains, but these smaller ones where you're talking like 300%, 500% gains, which is a really, really exciting part of the journey like to be involved in, because we had a brand this year where last year, like I think it was like October, they were doing $0, and this year in November, in 2025 November, like the Black Friday month, they did like $125,000. So we literally took them from like zero to $125,000. And this was actually on the channel. There's a video of like 0 to 100K a month, like the challenge, like trying to scale, where I showed like mid month, like where we're at. I think we were maybe at like 70K or something. So we broke the 100K. Client is super, super happy, very, very grateful. And it's just, yeah, it's just a privilege to be able to work with brands in that position and to see the growth and to see the change and to be involved in it. And, you know, all of the work that we've been doing has just been awesome. And I think when it comes to e-commerce, my biggest takeaway from the year of 2025 is that the work that you do on the website is insanely important. So like as an ad agency, like we can very, very easily put ads in front of people and use the Andromeda algorithm to get some really, really solid, attention rates, click-through rates, engagement rates, swim stop rates, hold rates, all that stuff. But then that's all well and good. But if you're sending them to a terrible website, like you got to think about where you're sending that traffic. Like once they've clicked, where are they going? What are they seeing? Are they seeing your best sellers? Are you putting your front foot forward in terms of the destination that you're sending them to? And then they go to the product page, and then they go to the cart page and the checkout page. And like, have you really thought about that process? And we've spent a lot of time on all of our accounts thinking about that process post click and redesigning collection pages, changing them, doing a lot of coding, doing a lot of Figma design, changing the product pages, adding like doing CRO bits, changing the cart pages as well, making them more branded, more custom. And that has made such an improvement on conversion rate, where ultimately, as an ad agency, because we've then done that work on the website, which has improved the add to cart rate, improved the conversion rate, it means that we can spend more on ads. It scales things. And so there's going to be a lot more of that to come in 2026. It's been a really, really interesting thing to be able to, do that work on the website and say like, right, there's three parts of e-commerce. You've got your attention, which is your marketing. Like, are you generating attention at a cost efficient rate? Good click through rates. Are those metrics solid? Are they above average? Are they on KPIs? Cool. And then you've got the website. So what is the experience when people go through post click? Like, where are they landing? Are they landing on a collection page? And are they landing on a product page? Like, what are they seeing? What is enticing them? Are there objections being handled through this process? And then number three, which is retention. There's some funky Mexican music again. I don't know if you can hear this. But then number three is retention. And this is like social media, your Instagram posting, your email marketing, referrals, word of mouth, people coming back and purchasing again. And so if you've got all your attention sorted, all those metrics are solid, but then you're seeing leaks on the conversion rate, like maybe the add to cart rate isn't high enough, that's where you want to focus. And you're just kind of like tweaking each part of that process, of those 3-step processes, until everything is watertight and you can literally turn the tap on, which is obviously increasing the ad spend. And I look at ad spend in a funnel and in an account as like a marker of confidence. It's like a confidence marker. If you can spend more, it's because you're more confident in your funnel, because the metrics and the data back up the strength of the funnel. Whereas if you're not really, you don't really want to scale, like, you have a feeling that if you're going to increase the budget, it's not really going to generate the revenue. Like, you need to look for bottlenecks. You need to analyze, and you need to try to plug those gaps and fill those leaks, essentially. So that's been my biggest takeaway. I think it's so important. Utilizing the Andromeda algorithm has been really, really good and really, really effective, but it's quite easy. But then plugging the gaps on the website to make sure that your traffic and your efforts on the ads aren't being wasted on a bad website experience is just so important. So overall, 2025 been mad, been some highs and lows, new team members, relocating, crazy results for our clients, record years. It's been awesome, and I'm just really excited to see what 2026 holds. It's going to be an interesting one. Lots and lots of growth, hopefully. And yeah, just really, really excited to see what we can do with the clients that we're working with, and where we can take them and what percentage of growth we can get them. So yeah, I guess follow along for the journey. I'm going to try and document a fair bit of the process because day to day, we're working with so many brands. We overcome so many challenges in this e-commerce world and industry. And it is, to be honest, like obviously I'm interested in e-commerce, and what I do day to day is so interesting. So if you're also in the e-commerce, Shopify world, marketing world, then it might also be interesting for you. So we will see. But yeah, happy days. That has been a little cheeky review of 2025. And I will catch you in 2026.